Dashrath Chand was the grandson of Jai Chand, who was killed in Baitadi during the revolt against Janga Bahadur Rana, and the second son of Sher Bahadur Chand and Oz Kumari Chand. His father, Sher Bahadur Chand, was known as Lieutenant Sher Bahadur, who made Turikal and Surkhet. Dashrath Chand was born on 1903 AD July 1st in Baskot, Baitardi in Thakuri family. After completing his general studies in Baskot and Nepalganj in 1920 AD, he went to Almora, Kumaon, Nainital and Banaras in India for further studies. Dashrath Chand had actively participated in Satyagraha started by Mahatma Gandhi in India. At the same time, he remembered the miserable condition of general public of Nepal. The public was suffering from poverty, illiteracy and ignorance. They were being exploited by the ruling class who had no law to obey and who lived in luxury. Dashrath Chand wrote articles against the cruel rules of Ranas by the name of Sewa Singh and published them in Janta newspaper of Patna, India. The British government in India banned the publication of Janta at the request of the Ranas. After giving entrance exam in IA from Banaras, he dropped out of school due to his family region and he came back to Kathmandu and started living with Dharma Bhakta Mathema. Dashrath Chand met the then Commander-in-Chief Rudra Samsher Rana through Dharma Bhakta Mathema. Rudra Samsher was also the one who brought Dharma Bhakta from Kolkata to Kathmandu. Rudra Samsher and Dashrath Chand had already established a relationship. Dashrath Chand's brother Lalit Chand was married to Rudra Samsher's granddaughter. Dashrath Chand therefore lived in a house near Rudra Samsher's palace and started studying art at Trichandra College. While living there, Dashrath Chand's love affair with Rudra Samsher's daughter Julia Devi Rana began. At the same time, in 1933 AD, Judha Samsher expelled the then Commander-in-Chief Rudra Samsher and other C-grade Rana from Kathmandu and sent them to Palpa. Julia also went to Palpa. But the exchange of love letters between Dashrath Chand and Julia continued even in the conservative society of the Rana period. Julia used to send many gifts to Dashrath Chand from Palpa. One of those gifts was a shawl worn by Dashrath Chand forever. After moving to Palpa from Kathmandu, Julia contracted tuberculosis and died within a few days of sending gifts to Dashrath. The shawl sent by Julia as a gift was so dear to Dashrath that he wore the same shawl even when he was martyred. Dashrath Chand first met Tanka Prasad Acharya in 1933 AD at Maua Daha in Bara district. In 1934 AD, Dashrath Chand arrived in Burma with his colleague Shiv Dutt Bhatta. After that, Dashrath Chand reached Thailand and planned to carry out an armed revolution in Nepal. A secret political party, Praja Parishad, was formed on 2nd June 1936 AD at Om Bahal Tol in Kathmandu. The founding of the Nepal Praja Parishad was proposed by Dashrath Chand and Tanka Prasad Acharya in a hotel in Bhimpedi, Makwanpur district of Nepal. Praja Parishad received the support of additional people including Dharma Bhakta Mathema. The organization's head office was kept in Dharma Bhakta Mathema's house in Om Bahal. The leading members of the party were Tanka Prasad Acharya, Ramhari Sarma, Dashrath Chand, Dharma Bhakta Mathema, Jiv Raj, Chura Prasad, etc. The aim of the party was to overthrow the Rana rule and establish a democratic system of government under the leadership of King Tribhuvan Bir Bikram Sahadev. Dharma Bhakta Mathema was a physical instructor of King Tribhuvan, which allowed Dharma Bhakta Mathema to act as a go-between the king and the Praja Parishad. Praja Parishad party worked very secretly for some years. Initially, Nepal Praja Parishad distributed handwritten pamphlets among the people and wrote articles against the Rana dynasty in Nepal in an Indian socialist paper, Janta, and another paper published in Kolkata named Advance. Later, Tanka Prasad Acharya brought a printing machine from India, and the organization started to distribute pamphlets against the Rana dynasty to enlighten the people against the rule of the Ranas in Nepal. In spite of all odds, King Tribhuvan secretly came in touch with the leaders of the movement. On being assured of the king's support, the movement gained monument with the monarch as the focal point of inspiration and guidance. King Tribhuvan gave his moral support to the organization of the party. The king gave them rupees 4,000 Indian currency to meet the expense of the party. The Praja Parishad became active and started distributing pamphlets explaining the arbitrary Rana rule. For about 4 months, the government did not know who were doing it. Soon, Juddha Samsher became active in controlling the work of the Praja Parishad. Juddha Samsher announced the reward of rupees 5,000 to anyone who would give the information about the Praja Parishad. The reward tempted Ramji Joshi, a member of Praja Parishad, and he disclosed the secret. There was a cinema hall in the Naranhiti palace of King Tribhuvan. Every year, during the festival of Tihar, the Rana used to give money for the king. In a conspiracy by Praja Parishad, the same cinema hall was to be bombed when King Tribhuvan came out. On the same basis, many of the conspirators' houses were surrounded and were arrested. Juddha Samsher established a special court to deal with the prominent member of Praja Parishad. According to the court decision in 1940 AD, Dharmabhakta Mathema, Gangalal Shrestha, Sukaraj, and Dashrath Chand were given death sentences. Whereas Tanka Prasad Acharya, Ramhari Sarma, Chura Prasad, and Govinda Prasad were given life imprisonment, as the killing of Brahmins was not allowed under the Nepali law at that time. Dashrath Chand and Gangalal Shrestha were in the same jail cell. In prison, they were given severe torture and pain. They were asked to beg pardon, but they did not do so. Gangalal and Dashrath Chand were very close friends. They wanted to die together. According to their demands, the Rana rulers shot them dead at the same place on the same day. On 1941, January 20th at around 11 p.m., while being taken to Sova Bhagwati by Jagannath Dewal, the house of Gangalal was on the way. Gangalal called his pregnant wife Hasina in a loud voice, but that voice did not reach his wife. Both Dashrath Chand and Gangalal Shrestha were blindfolded after being taken to the place of execution along with 10 to 12 soldiers. Both of their hands were tied from back. Narasamsher Rana first ordered Dashrath Chand to shoot. Dashrath Chand said, "Shoot Gangalal first." Immediately, Gangalal said, "Brother, I understand your point. I will not be scared if they shoot you first." Narasamsher, the leader of the assassination team deployed by the Rana government, at last moment said to Gangalal, "Apologize, there is still a time." Brave Gangalal, who was tied to a stick, looked at Narasamsher's face with disgust and replied, "What have I done to apologize? Why should I apologize to a butcher like you? Instead, apologize to us for the atrocities you have committed." Shortly before this, executioner Narasamsher had asked Dashrath Chand, who was tied to west his last verse. Dashrath Chand laughed and replied to Narasamsher, "I want to see the end of the Rana rule. Can you do that what I want?" Hearing this dull and fearless answer of Dashrath Chand, Narasamsher became angry. Narasamsher ordered his troops to shoot Dashrath Chand in the knee. Immediately, Narasamsher said to the troops, "Shoot his thigh." Dashrath Chand was also shot in the thigh. Dashrath Chand began to shake with pain. Blood was flowing from Dashrath Chand's thigh. Meanwhile, Nara Shamsher ordered the troop, strike him in the chest. The bullet hit Dashrath Chand in the chest. Dashrath Chand died. He did not bow his head until his last breath against the tyrant Rana rulers. His body was bent forward only after his death. His eyes were still open. Thus, the eyes of Dashrath Chand, who gave his life for democracy and Nepali land, did not stop looking at the earth even after his death. Thank you.